G'day folks, I'm Mitchell Dale, this is Martin Lenihan. You're watching Rugby League Week TV's Good Week, Bad Week. We'll start off with Good Week at number 3, Sione Matata. Now, Wayne Bennett's been rapping the kid for a while and he's not prone to give out too much praise to young blokes, but it looks like it's well placed here with young Sione.
Yeah, look, I think Wayne likes to protect these guys as much as he can, but hard to keep a lid on the hat-trick hero. 2 huge wins in a row for Newcastle. I think really everyone probably thought they might drop away a bit, nothing left to play for, but they've been fantastic the last 2 weeks, and Sione was just incredible last Sunday.
Yeah, and he comes from a long line of talented kids there in that family, so probably won't be the only one to be doing good things in the red and blue into the future.
For sure. Future Knights captain, says Wayne, so he didn't want the media to talk to him and put too much pressure on him, so he's probably done it himself.
Just done it himself. Okay, number 2, Jamie Soward. Just keeps sticking it up the critics, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. I reckon he loves this whole siege mentality. Whoever's out there bagging Jamie, we're not quite sure, but he seems to think everybody is, and he thrives on that a bit. He was amazing on Monday night. Look, you know, he's got Peter Wallace out of that side, scored a couple of tries. You know, when Jamie Soward's running the ball, he's confident. Brilliant kicking towards the end of the game. They've got a really hard run home, Penrith, but I reckon Soward can get them into the top 4.
Yeah, I think maybe Penrith fans might want to start bagging him on websites just to keep him fired up because he's in really hot touch at the moment. Only beaten by number 1. It's got to be Greg Inglis, Rugby League Week, perfect 10 for GI. The first one since Robert Laurie in 1980 for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, it's been a long wait. I think it's amazing, really, that Greg Inglis has only got 1 10. I mean, we don't exactly hand him around that often, but his main man, Jared Hayne, his rival's got 2 of them in the last few years. So I reckon GI, that was the first one. Incredible performance. You know, what a game that was Thursday night. Scoring tries, setting them up. It was amazing. Yeah,
interesting point that Brian Smith brings up in the magazine this week about Jared Hayne and Greg Inglis is perhaps Inglis is just sitting back there watching Hayne get all the raps. Of course, he was the number 1 player in the game in the players' poll. Everyone's been talking about him being the best player in the game, and maybe GI's just come out around finals time, made a little statement saying, don't forget me.
He was knocked off that number 1 in the players' poll, so I reckon he did. He had a bit of a look at that and thought, I'll show you boys, and came up with 3 tries. Look, it was a 10 out of 10. It wasn't too much debate about that one.
No, sometimes when we give out of 10, there is a bit of debate. None of it for this time. Greg Inglis, 10 out of 10 for Rugby League Week and number 1 on Good Week this week for us. For all the good, there is a few bad. This is Bad Week number 3, the Cowboys. Tight loss to Penrith on Monday night, but it puts them in a really tough position now.
It does. I mean, the competition's so close now. They've gone from 5th to 7th. Drew up to 22 all there. Obviously, Thurston missed the kick from very wide out. I just thought Penrith showed a bit more composure in that run home, got the money. South now coming up for the Cowboys, which is really tough. They could slide a little bit more next weekend. So, look, they've still only won 2 of 11 away. We thought they'd rectified that a bit. Still a terrible record. And that's a huge loss for them.
Look, it is. It's a momentum killer. The one thing that is in their favour is that their for and against is still plus 160. So they would only need to make the minimum amount of competition points, and they will make it into the 8 still. Number 2 this week, Ben Teo, the chicken wing. 4 weeks he's going to miss. He will get to play again for the Rabbitohs before he leaves for Leinster Rugby. But look, he loses a lot of momentum as well.
Well, he does. Never give a sucker an even break, they say. Somebody else gets his spot. Been playing really well, but they've got a problem there, South. That's 2 weeks in a row with chicken wing tackles. 4 weeks, was it enough? I'm not sure. It's a pretty ugly tackle. Could be very damaging to Sam Thaiday. Luckily, he got away okay. So it's a huge killer, as you said, for Teo's momentum. For South, they've got some big games coming up. He'll miss the first final and then comes back, but I think they want to have a look at some of their tackling there, South. They can't afford to keep losing guys to suspension.
No, definitely not. And as you say, I mean, there's so much depth in that South Sydney pack. Someone else comes in, plays out of their skin for the next month. It could be bad news for Ben Teo. And number 1 this week, well, if GI was a certainty for Good Week, it's got to be the people who made the rule for the 40-20 placing the kick. You can't blame the ball boy. It's the rule makers.
What's doing? I mean, this has been a shocker. Sounded great in theory. No one understands it. They don't know where to take the tap. Chris Sandow didn't even tap the ball anyway, even if they'd done it properly. We can't be blaming kids for stuff like this. Let's go back to packing a scrum for the attacking side. You get a great advantage anyway. Set piece, run a move from there. As I said, no one understands that the Tigers had a crack at it the next night. Blake Austin was 10 metres away from where he's meant to be. Whoever dreamt it up, sorry. Get rid of it.
Bring back the scrum. As you say, there is enough advantage out of getting a repeat set inside your opposition's 20 metres anyway. Go back to the scrum. Get rid of that dud rule. It is a shocker, and it's number 1 on Bad Week this week.